Hello, my name's Jason Lay. We are in western McLean County, just west of Bloomington, where I live with my wife Misty and our 7-year-old daughter Lillian. She will be a first grader this fall at Carlock. We operate a grain operation throughout the western part of the county, including the towns of Carlock, Danvers, and Newton. Some of my involvement includes the McLean County Farm Bureau Young Leader Chair. I also serve on the Illinois Soybean Association and have other past involvement throughout the agricultural industry. Graduate of Illinois State University in ag business. So here we are in July. During this time of the year, we usually try and wrap up the previous year's activities, which include hauling grain. And at that point, we're definitely looking at a growing crop, as you can see behind me. And at this point, we basically scout the crop a lot to make sure we don't have any disease pressure or insect pressure. If we do, we can treat, typically with airplanes. And from that point forward, we try and get all of our equipment ready for this fall, because we don't really like to have a lot of downtime when we're busy in the fall. So usually takes about a 3 to 4 week process to get everything ready, just to make sure that everything's going to be in good working order. And that includes all of our grain storage and drying as well. Some of the reasons why I become involved in agriculture. First off, we'll talk about the Illinois Soybean Association a little bit. Our main purpose and goal throughout that organization is to increase the profitability of Illinois farmers. That may be through research, typically through various universities throughout the Midwest, not limited just to Illinois, or it could also become through our Illinois Yield Challenge, which actually drives in different regions throughout the state. It drives some competitiveness from one area to the next, but at the same point, you're trying to figure out what's going to maximize your returns on your farm. It was a pleasure introducing myself and my family to you. I hope you enjoy your stay at the McLean County Fair this year. Thank you for your time. Have a great fair.
Hi, my name's Kurt Williams. I farm around the Ellsworth area in eastern McLean County. I live here on our family farm with my wife Tricia and our 2 boys, Andrew and Patrick. And now our boys are the 5th generation of Williamses to live here. I grow corn and soybeans. I graduated from the University of Illinois in 1993, and I've been farming for the past 17 years with my dad, Gene Williams here. And as you can see in the background, maybe we also have wind turbines on our property. We have a few on our family farm and then several on farms that we rent. They're part of the Twin Groves Wind Project, which has been developed by Horizon Wind Energy. So that's been a new experience for us the last few years. With our corn and our beans that we grow, probably our biggest customer of those corn and beans is still the livestock industry. Some of our corn also gets sent to various ethanol plants and gets processed into ethanol. So between the corn and the beans and the windmills, we do produce a lot of energy that comes off of our farms. During my 17 years of farming, there's been kind of 2 major changes that have taken place. One was early on in the mid-90s, the development of some of the biotechnology. It's safe for the environment. We've been able to use less chemicals, and we have better weed control and less crop damage, so that's been a big improvement. And then in addition to that, a few years after that, they developed seed that would produce crops that are insect resistant. The other major change that's taken place the last maybe 10 years has been in our equipment, the GPS technology. We're able to farm more site-specific, know exactly where we're at in the field. And so overall, those 2 have allowed us to be more efficient, try to produce more off the acres we have. more efficiently and hopefully a little cheaper. Okay, well, thanks for taking the time to stop out and learn a little about our farm. I hope you enjoy the McLean County Fair and are able to pick up something, learn something here at the Ag Exhibit and also around the rest of the fair. Thanks.
Yeah, my name is Rudi Hoffmann. I'm originally from Germany. This is my wife Mary, and she grew up here, and that's the reason why we moved back to the States in 1999, October. And we started this vineyard about 2003 with the first 3 acres. Yeah, in the meantime, we have about 8 acres, about 4,000 plants, and we planted them year by year.
Everything that we do in this vineyard is done by hand, and that's our hands. We do everything ourselves, from planting the grapes, putting the plants in the ground, and then we have to put the trellising up, the wiring up, and we start pruning already in end of January, beginning of February. In the middle of July or so, we start netting. And the netting is very important to keep the birds out of the grapes, because the Frontenacs, the ones that are here, they're very good red grapes. It's a very expensive wine when it finally comes into the bottle. It would be a really sad thing if the birds got everything.
Yeah, we have a saying in Germany, the grape plant wants to see his or her boss every day. And that's the truth. I mean, you have to be out there every day.
We are in the process of attaining our licenses to eventually open a winery. We're not that far yet. We love it.
Yeah, it's a fun, I mean, you have to like the work, the kind of work we do. It's handwork, labor intensive. But like I said, I mean, we love it, and that's the main thing.
Is ethanol actually a superior fuel? Hi, I'm Darren Hefty with today's Ag Minute. While opponents try to paint ethanol as just another way to burn up corn, there are some very positive attributes to ethanol when it comes out of the tailpipe. Here are a few of the findings from some recent studies. Ethanol reduces tailpipe carbon monoxide emissions by as much as 30%. It reduces exhaust volatile organic compounds by 12%. It reduces toxic emissions by 30%. And reduces particulate matter emissions by more than 25%. Ethanol has been found to burn safely in all vehicles and small gas engines. While engines aren't designed to burn 100% ethanol just yet, it is a little different than gasoline, but for the most part there are some positive attributes found in recent studies that make ethanol a viable alternative to importing foreign oil. With today's Ag Minute, I'm Darren Hefty.
Our Farm Basics topic today, is lime.
We've gotten a lot of first-hand experience with lime, mainly because our soil pHs were quite low
I thought you were
in a lot of plants, and one of the byproducts at municipal water treatment plants is actually lime, which is calcium carbonate.
Well, this lime, and the reason why farmers want it is really twofold. Number one, it will help to raise a low soil pH. In other words, the ideal soil pH is right around neutral at about 7. 6.8 is what we call the ideal soil pH. The problem is there are a lot of soil pHs that are 5.5, maybe 6, something like that, and it could even be a lot less. But the point is, when you put lime out there, it raises the soil pH. The other thing, and the other reason why a lot of people would put lime out, is to get better calcium availability, because plants need lots of calcium.
Well, fortunately, in those cases, lime is calcium carbonate. So you're adding a lot more calcium to the equation. And when you start talking about these pHs, you're saying, well, if you may have a 5.5, you want to be up at a 6.5. Doesn't sound like that's a whole lot of difference, does it?
No, it doesn't sound like it's a lot of difference, but in many cases it's 25% off a corn or soybean yield, and it's even more than that off an alfalfa yield. It's quite a bit off a wheat yield. In other words, everything else may be exactly the same. The amount of nutrients in the soil, the variety is the same, you till it the same, you do everything exactly the same. But if you've got a 6.5 pH versus a 5.5 pH, you will have a lower yield over here where you have that lower pH.